time now for our K-Correspondent segment where we go over abroad to talk about K-wave issues. And we're going to do that this time with our co-host Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa. Very happy to join you guys on today's very special show.
And I'm very happy to have you here as well. Now, the global popularity of K-pop is present in almost every corner of the world. Today, our attention is on Northern Europe. BTS, BLACKPINK, and recently even the fictional K-pop groups of the animated film KPop Demon Hunters are gaining huge popularity in the region. Let's find out how K-pop is establishing itself in Northern Europe. And for that, we connect live with Professor Tobias Plebuch, a senior lecturer at the Department of Musicology at Uppsala University in Sweden. Hello, Professor Plebuch.
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
All right.
Hello from Sweden.
Hello from Korea. Now, Professor Plebuch, could you please introduce yourself to our viewers and also tell us how you got into K-pop?
Yes, I'm working at Uppsala University. This is about 40 minutes north of our capital, Stockholm. And I got into K-pop, I think, like millions of people around the world during the pandemic. You might know that Sweden did not have a hard lockdown, but we did go into home office for some time. One day I found a song with a funny title, Go Go Bebe, by a group with a funny name, Mamamoo, and I thought, wow, this is really great music. Now, I have a classical background. I'm a conservatory-trained musician, but here was great music that was very different from what I was used to be. So I digged into it, Mamamoo and many others, and my amazement did not stop about the beautiful melodies, fantastic choreographies, fast-paced, very precise rap, even polyphonic rap, so singing different raps at the same time. And the singing is sometimes not just singing, it's vocal art, so rich and colorful. So it was the musical quality that got me into K-pop.
Wow. It's so interesting to hear from your personal story of how you got into K-pop, and also Mamamoo, really, their vocals, if you once listen to them, you just can't stop listening to that group. Now, Professor Plebuch, we also just talked about the astounding popularity of K-pop Demon Hunters. So do the songs like Golden and Soda Pop also have a place on music charts in Sweden right now? And have you watched the film as well?
Yes, I did. It's great. Fantastic. Demon Hunters is very popular on Netflix here. And I didn't track the individual songs, but the soundtrack is on #1 of the Swedish album charts right now. Also very high in Denmark and in Norway. But let me add something about Golden, because this struck me now as a musicologist. Golden has a very broad interval range. If you remember this, da da dee dum, da da dee dum, da da dee da dee. This is 1 octave plus a fifth.
Right.
This is very big, and I'm so glad that they kept this typical K-pop features in there, because big melodies has always been a particular strength of K-pop composition since many years. And the main theme of Golden, pay attention to it, there are motifs that pop up every now and then. So it is like a red thread, almost like a leitmotif that holds the entire movie together, musically together. And I love this, of course.
Wow. So definitely K-pop is huge in Northern Europe. But recently, not only interest in K-pop, but Korean dramas, movies, and food have been growing significantly in Sweden and also other Northern European countries as well. So what changes stood out the most in terms of the recognition of Korean wave when it's compared to the past?
So I'm not a specialist in food and drama, but I talk to Koreans here and Swedish people. Definitely K-drama was the door opener here. Korean food also is increasingly important here. I can go just around the corner here. My local supermarket has Korean food and ingredients. And our second Korean restaurant just opened here a few months ago. And this is not a big town, it's a mid-sized town. But of course, I'm a little biased toward K-pop. And I do believe that the music has become the most powerful driving force recently for Hallyu. We have fan communities, cover dance groups, festivals, competitions, and specialized K-pop schools in Sweden and all over Europe here, in many countries.
Wow, fascinating. And Professor Plebuch, you mentioned that you held a seminar back in April regarding K-pop. Now, back in June, there was also Europe's first K-pop symposium that was held in Stockholm, and that was on the back of a K-pop festival. So please tell us what was discussed at the symposium, and how would you assess the socio-cultural influence of K-pop today?
Yeah, we collaborated with the festival in Stockholm. That was a festival and competition organized by the Korean Cultural Center, who were very supportive here. It was fantastic. And right one day after the festival, we started with the symposium, the academic stuff here. We had 42 speakers, the active participant plus guests from 16 countries, and only 4 of them were from Sweden. So it was almost worldwide, the speakers we had here. And the assessment of the social cultural impact, I would say the topics that they focused on, they are very significant of what's hot right now. And this is, of course, fandom. Fandom is super important for K-pop and the globalization and localization, as we call it. Then we talked a lot about K-pop style and music analysis. Basically, we dissected songs and videos.
That sounds like a very fun symposium. I mean, many symposiums might not, sound like fun necessarily, but this one really sounds like it has so many interesting aspects about K-pop. And I mean, now the next question is especially particularly for you as a musicologist. So Sweden is particularly renowned for its melody-centric songwriting and systematic music education. And Swedish composers have been involved in songs made by Red Velvet and BTS and Twice and others. So how do you think the music cultures of Korea and Sweden complement each other?
Yep, you're right. There is a long and very close collaboration between Swedish composers and the Korean industry here. I think the reasons for that is that Sweden has a very long and internationally successful songwriting tradition. Think ABBA, back in the 70s and 80s. So we have many composers here and producers. Sweden is a small country, population-wise. We have less than 11 million inhabitants here, population. But there are many composers and producers. We have specialized schools who are focusing on composition, production, performance. And we have great support from the media, Spotify, of course, and public media also. Now, put these 3 things together: institutions, traditions, and infrastructure. And then you get a musical power, so to say, that is almost unstoppable.
Wow. So we can definitely see that, Korean wave is receiving tremendous love in European countries as well. But what is it about K-pop and these Korean contents that's so appealing to locals in Sweden or in Northern European countries?
I went to a K-pop dance workshop, an open workshop, for everybody can come, last year in Stockholm. It was a big hall. I saw kids, 7, 8 years old. I saw moms and dads, many teenagers, of course, and I saw grandmas in their 60s learning to dance K-pop. So this is one special thing. The northern cultures are very inclusive. Everybody can come and join. Another thing is that also the dance cover groups, they're always mixed, those that I've seen. Never just boys or just girls, always boys and girls together. Then there is an interesting aspect about K-pop itself that makes it so attractive, I think. And this is that I believe that all K-pop songs are more or less theatrical. All K-pop songs have big feelings and a sequence of implied events. There is one final aspect that is super interesting to me, and this is that the language barrier is surprisingly low. Korean, so almost nobody speaks Korean. Yeah, a few people speak Korean, especially teenagers don't. But that language barrier almost does not exist. I could imagine that BTS or Twice or Enhypen or whatever, they could sing from the Korean telephone book. As long as the names are beautiful, sound pretty, and are well integrated with melody, harmony, rhythm, and dance, and we would still love it.
Super interesting indeed, Professor Plebuch. Now, finally, we have one question for you now. What do you think is important for K-pop to become more deeply rooted in Northern Europe? Do you have any, hopes for the future of K-pop in your region?
The catchword is glocalization, and I think you talked about this already on Ariran. So that means global expansion and at the same time adaptation of K-pop for local communities and by local communities. But this is something that you do not need to push because it's already running almost by itself. I do hope that at least some K-pop groups keep pushing the limits. I have one more wish, if I'm daydreaming here about future K-pop, and this is I'm hoping for long and complex forms, not just 2, 3, 4-minute songs, but continuous music of 30 minutes maybe, coherent, complex, entertaining, and artistically sophisticated. So you need very creative composers, lyricists, story developers, set designers, choreographers, video artists, and producers to invent that thing that doesn't exist yet. Coherent, 30-minute, that's exciting and entertaining and formally sophisticated. And of course, you need a production company who is willing to put the money on the table and take the risk, because this is risky.
Well, I hope that many people in the industry, producers and artists, take note of that recommendation. I think it's going to be a very creative, a new way to listen to K-pop.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Plebuch, for your insights today. And we look forward to not only a further expansion of K-pop in Sweden and in Northern Europe, but also lots of cooperation in the field of music with Swedish artists and composers. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you for having me.